British is, the master's you. And as long as that Union Jack continues to fly from that...
Hey you lot, I'm Brass Polish, and I've got a drinking game for you. Take a shot every time I accidentally call lightning dust lightning bliss.
I'm probably the best flyer in all of Equestria.
I wonder if that mailbox is in some way anchoring Rainbow Dash's house in place.
On the first day.
Got a letter here for Rainbow Dash.
I didn't get in.
Oh, well, I guess I'll sign off now. I'm Brass Polish, and thanks for watching.
You guys are so gullible.
Oh, she was having them on.
Gonna get in. Pinkie Pie, I kinda need to get going.
Right now? Why the hell would they send you an application response on the day the semester is supposed to start? You might well have gotten your bags packed and ready to go for nothing. Must be that Pegasus speed they're so famous for.
Guys in a week. Good luck. Won't need it. Don't forget to write!
Eat your heart out, Captain Zero. The Wonderbolt Academy, perched on a mountaintop for plot convenience. The main six's visit later need not be put on pause for the application of a cloud-walking spell. You could say they wanted a more solid base in case of accident, but I think it'd be more prudent to set the junior speedsters flight camp here in that case. Less chance of falling to your death should the coach give you a nudge off your hooves, or a trio of racers spin you off your cloud, or whatever else didn't manage to kill Fluttershy. As much of a weed as she is, she's pretty good at cheating death.
Bet y'all think you're Wonderbolt material, don't ya?
Yes, ma'am!
I'm glad the design artist took the time to create new characters for Canterlot Boutique. This lot confused the hell out of everyone.
Let me be the first to tell you. You don't!
Spitfire has decided to find out who processes the applications, go to their desks, and say, "Get the f*** out of here!"
You look like you're the worst flyer in the whole academy.
Huh. Normally when a Pegasus has an outfit on and has wing holes, Spitfire's jacket just stops at her wing joint.
Ha! What about you? Bet you couldn't fly past the first flagpole without getting winded.
Try me, ma'am.
The moment they made thousands of military bronies shit their pants.
Got, ma'am.
Oh, you want a chance to prove yourself, huh?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, you could prove how good you are with a whitewash brush. You're on Jankers, you bitch.
All of you! Not bad. For a couple of newbies.
Name's Lightning Dust.
Ah, Lightning Dust. My favorite one-off character. You could probably tell. I imagine it wouldn't be too difficult for her to make a comeback. Or rather, I used to. When I said in Rarity Investigates that Wind Rider would be easy to bring back, I meant it'd be pretty easy to attach him to any sort of revenge plot against Rarity. No risk of accidental external monologue. I think it'd be too easy to bring Wind Rider back, actually, and I have the same concerns for Lightning Dust should the writers decide to use her again. I hope if she does return, she's not just after vengeance on Rainbow Dash and or Spitfire. I've veered away from that in my stories, and I really can't predict what the writers would do. I find episode stories have a 50-50 chance of taking either the high road or the low road. Since we got 2 winter episodes in Season 5, my Season 6 wish list is for a Rarity Pinkie Pie double act and a Lightning Dust comeback.
And it'll be all my fault!
Release!
Wonder how long it took for Spitfire to be able to judge the right moment so the pony riding the Dizitron doesn't get hammered into the ground. The runway now has skid marks.
Go!
I am in your power, boss me around. There's a thought. Have any Earth ponies or Pegasi ever tried using a hypnotic device or apparatus? I think Treehuggers come the closest with her entrancing voice.
Make everything look easy.
Soaring, you lazy tosser.
Permission to enter, ma'am.
What is it, Rainbow Dash?
Say, are hoof prints like fingerprints? Every pony has a different one, and that's how crime scene investigators identify culprits. We haven't seen the equestrian equivalent of the police yet, have we? I stick to the show's canon. I find the comics try too hard to be darker than the show. I'm all for dark children's stories, but I'm content with the dark undertone friendship his magic commonly exhibits.
I mean, we'll be an unstoppable team.
It's probably just polished brass.
Today you will all be participating in
What?
a flag hunt. We'll divide you into 2 teams, red and blue.
Choose your starter Pokemon.
Most flags of the opposing team's color wins.
Oh, this is gonna be so much fun.
Given the lax discipline here, I can't consider this a military institution. We know the Wonderbolts have military-like origins and that it's now a performance group, so I guess they play up the military aspect of the organization to an extent. But going by their attempts to subdue Spikezilla, I suppose there are certain members of the Wonderbolts who are called to action in some crises, something that ought to be reconsidered, if not abolished.
Ready to rock and roll?
I think you're thinking of Bandcamp, Dust.
We should slow down. It doesn't look like both of us can make it at this speed.
I like that line. Simple, and barely even a word, yet tells you everything you need to know. Even in a kid show that often relies on expositional dialogue and or visuals, there's not hand-holding 100% of the time.
Give me a second. Oh, you're fine.
Common attitude. I see no blood or mangling. It barely qualifies as an injury.
Totally. The only thing that could possibly help me right now is a letter from Rainbow Dash. It's been 3 days already. By now, she probably doesn't even know our names anymore. She probably can't remember our faces. Pinkie Pie! I never heard of a Pinkie Pie. Who is Pinkie Pie?
Some have complained that Pinkie Pie was being retarded here, but I can relate to this. Imagination can be a blessing and a curse. A curse because when you're worried, your mind can jump to a variety of grim scenarios, plausible or otherwise. There are a number of shady Pinkie Pie moments I can identify with. Probably the worst offender being her role in Philly Vanilli. People have deemed her role in Philly Vanilli despicable, but I can't judge her. I've been here. I've done this. A few times I've said some nasty not realizing at all what I was doing. This and other things are why I consider Pinkie Pie a less hyperactive version of myself. Ooh, more competition for Star and Zero.
Doing our famous air obstacle course.
Who are they? Interns? They have the same uniform as the new cadets, so maybe they're senior students giving demonstrations?
Don't worry about winning.
A common flight hazard. Candy floss. I can't think of any practical reason for dyeing the clouds in this exercise. It's not like oil spill drills using peat moss or trauma and treatment simulations. I would have said that it may be so the groups know which clouds to deal with and which ones to leave alone, but that would have been more practical for the exercise they do later when their main objective is cloud busting. I don't understand the point of the pinkness here.
I guess. Now's our chance to pass these slowpokes.
Doesn't it always make you feel good when you're driving down the highway and some maniac shoots past you at 150 km an hour and you see that exact same car a few minutes down the road pulled over by a cop?
Not bad. And in record time, too.
Not that it was a race or anything.
Making you two a team. The others seem to have had a little trouble with the precision.
Still more competition for Star and Zero.
Sort them out.
Now this is where you need color-coded clouds. He's not even bothering with the other teams at this point. He knows who to root for. Literally the only thing he fulfills in this episode. A cheap laugh.
I have an idea about how we can literally blow away our competition.
That just screams not Wonderbolt material, considering your co-star's adversaries.
Are you in or not?
Now how on earth did Lightning Dust know Rainbow Dash's patented rainbow dry technique?
I can't control it!
It appears that a group of Pegasi isn't required to create a tornado, but to hold it together.
It's a twister!
Now that Starlight is friends with Applejack, my chances of persuading her to grant me that little favor are extinguished. Fluttershy got some criticism for making no effort to attempt a rescue, but 1, she like the rest of her friends was caught off guard, and 2, she can't carry much weight, and surely she couldn't possibly choose which one of her friends to save. Therefore, she falls with them. Borderline noble, I'd say. It seems Earth ponies and unicorns are able to touch clouds when they're compressed. I would figure that in order for the city of Cloudsdale to be structurally solid, the clouds on which it sits would have to be fairly compacted, but that doesn't seem the case, as they needed a cloud-walking spell in Sonic Rainboom.
Didn't realize you'd be in the middle of some crazy tornado drill.
Tornado drill. There's a Pokemon attack name for you.
My friends could have been smashed to pieces.
That's just as harsh as saying they could have got killed, so I'm not fussed. Again, recurring dark undertone.
Totally wiped them out with that tornado. The other cadets will have to be up there for days to bust as many as we did.
I'll never forget my first Brohoof. Convention, October 2014. The same weekend I first saw Rainbow Rocks. Some chubby dude in a Luna shirt saw me holding a freshly purchased Pinkie Pie plushie, which I've clung to whenever I felt depressed ever since. The plushie, I mean, not the dude in the Luna shirt.
You're going about it in the wrong way. The Wonderbolts don't seem to think so.
The Wonderbolts' morals may be a bit screwy, but it's still a more ethical institution than the holistic dog food industry.
You're right. You're supposed to be up there busting clouds with your partner.
We're done with that, ma'am.
Already?
That's an Academy record. Jinx. Fine.
Lightning Dust decided to use a tornado.
A bit excessive for cloud busting.
Question. Do the Wonderbolts ever have to manage weather? That's something Pegasi are reputed for throughout equestrian history, but does it ever come into play in aerial acrobatic performances? Judging by the shower that preceded the aerial flower formation, probably not. But then again, at the time, they were all more concerned with where Spitfire skived off to.
That's what it means to be a Wonderbolt? Then I don't want any part of it.
What are you saying, newbie?
I quit.
I can relate. I went into college for a filmmaking major. Wasn't working out. Had to make the morale railroading decision to leave. And it didn't end as happily as this scenario does. As someone who's had to decide to abandon a treasured ambition, I hope you won't mind if I use this time to get something off my chest. Holistic dog food is an obscene product made by sinister people and for devious people. I'm not talking about vegetarians and vegans in general, just the ones who want a way to force their beliefs onto others without having to absorb any objections or rebuttals. Utterly shameful. Alright, thanks.
You're capable of doing just that.
One of the reasons I like Lightning Dust. I find this one of the best examples in the show of how easy it is to f*** up a good thing. Alright, I'll be signing off now. For reals this time. I'm Brass Polish, thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed your 20 minutes of sobriety. Bye.